Hey, how's it going?
Hi, Ryan.
Good to see you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. Mike Jones, nice to see you.
Ryan Schaefer.
Hey, Ryan.
So yeah, absolutely. So obviously you've seen my resume online, but I just want to give you a physical hard copy as well.
Okay, great. Thank you for bringing that in.
Of course.
Please, have a seat.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's sit down and talk a little bit. So, what job are you applying for?
Yeah, I hope I'm in the right place. I'm applying for the sales trainee position at IBM, obviously.
That's right. Yeah, glad you're here.
Thanks.
I've got quite a few questions that I like to ask during the interview process. So I'd just like to go through these with you and get to know you better and find out more about your work experience and your life experience and see if we think you could be a candidate for this job.
Perfect. Sounds amazing.
Okay. Let's talk about strengths and weaknesses. What do you think are your strengths and weaknesses from your previous work?
Absolutely, Mike. So I'll keep it pretty simple for you. As far as my strengths go, I work super well in a team. I work super well on my own. I'm a natural self-motivator, and I'm not afraid to work 12 hours a day until I get the job done.
You like hard workers?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. What about your weaknesses?
Mike, I'm not perfect by any means, but I often have trouble shutting my brain off at night and walking away from work, and unfortunately I'm motivated by money, so I see that as a weakness sometimes.
That's not a bad thing. I kind of like that. In your previous role, in your sales role, you had a manager there in the field, I believe. How would your previous boss describe you?
My previous boss would describe me as someone who is persistent and will keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back. Someone who is a natural born salesman, and like I said before, someone who's not afraid to get the job done and get their hands dirty.
Okay. And I think you had told me a little bit about that when we talked on the phone. What were his responsibilities with you?
His responsibilities were basically training, encouraging, motivating, checking in with me nightly to make sure the job is going well.
Okay. And what's your opinion of him?
Absolutely. He was incredible. I have nothing negative to say about my past boss. He took a chance on me and did an incredible job preparing me for the job, for the internship as well. And yeah.
Okay. So if you think about that job, how would your coworkers describe you as a professional?
My coworkers would describe me as incredibly competitive. Someone who's going to compete head to head. If they see the value in something, if I see the value in something, I'm going to compete against my coworkers. And someone who's a natural morale booster and an encourager.
Okay. And why would you want to leave there? Why do you want to leave there?
I'm looking for something more streamlined, like IBM, something that's gonna help me elevate my career and take me to the next step. And I feel like IBM is a perfect opportunity for that.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about that. Why would you want to work for us?
Absolutely, because IBM has led in technological advances over the years. A very notable company, responsible for billions and billions and billions of dollars of revenue, and it's just a very well-known company. So,
Yeah, we are. Okay, well that's good. And why should we hire you over some of the other people that we're talking? There's a lot of people that we're talking to for this position, and I've only got maybe one or possibly two openings, so it's a selection process. Why would we hire you or consider you over someone else?
well, Mike, that's a great question, and I will say two things. This is what I go by. I go by showing up day in and day out, having a great attitude, and giving it my all. So I could promise you that I'm going to show up with a tenacious work ethic, and I'm going to give you what you need day in and day out, and also simultaneously have a great attitude. I could probably see that. So
Okay.
that's why you should hire me.
Okay, all right. Tell me about your accomplishments in the sales job. What are your two best accomplishments, so to speak?
So my sales job was also an internship, and I ranked out of 950,000 plus interns. It started the summer, it entered the internship. I finished in the top 30, so the top 5, top 10% of all those other interns, salespeople. And I was responsible for over $65,000 worth of book sales and a 10-week period plus an extra 4-week period. So between those 14 weeks, I'm responsible for $65,000 worth of book sales. which today books are practically obsolete. So,
True. Yeah, that's impressive, Ryan. wha- so, in addition to those, like sales awards or sales achievement, what is your other most important contribution that you brought to your last, to your last employer?
well, as it would have said on the resume, I average actually 76 hours in the field per week between my first summer. My second summer, I actually averaged 66 hours per week. My first summer was 76 hours per week. So, like I said, it's just a norm of me working all day, every day, pretty much. As far as
Okay.
my accomplishments,
Hard work. Okay, that's good. In our business, we've got a lot of pressure and deadlines, and I've got to report to somebody who reports to somebody, and it'd be no different from you after you go through your training period. How do you perform under deadlines and deadline pressure?
I would say I'm not perfect, like I mentioned before, but I have an incredibly notable track record when it comes to my deadlines. The last sales job that we've been kind of talking about, I was responsible for a nightly report every single night. So as far as my daily stats, my customers, my sales, my hours worked, so on and so forth. Like I said, I was responsible for a daily report, and that was submitted each and every day in a timely manner by 11 p.m. every single night. That's just a little bit.
Okay.
Just a sneak peek.
How do you react to criticism in coaching?
I'm extremely coachable, as we kind of talked about my last boss. He would also say that I'm extremely coachable. I love criticism. It only makes me better, right? I don't take it as someone trying to beat me down or knock me down. I take it as someone that's trying to make me better.
Okay. Unfortunately in the workplace, it's like life. We don't always get along with our customers or our coworkers maybe as well as we should. And it's very important that we can resolve those things. Can you describe like a conflict or disagreement that you've had at work and how you resolved it?
Absolutely. Actually, truly, honestly, well, my first summer with Southwestern Advantage, we had someone that was super emotional that had come. This is after my first summer. Somebody was coming for their first summer at Southwestern Advantage. They were very emotional. They didn't truly understand what they had gotten themselves into, and they started to basically just lose it emotionally. I was responsible for talking them down and preparing them for what was ahead, for what they had previously committed to, which was a summer of growth, a summer of working with us at Southwestern. And that student ended up finishing the summer. That's essentially how I handled it.
Excellent. Okay. And what are two biggest problems that you've encountered at your job, and talk to me a little bit about that, and then how you've overcome them?
Absolutely. As far as problems, I can remember one specifically. It was maybe July 21st of 2 summers back. It was the day of my birthday, actually. And I worked 10 hours consecutively, and I hadn't made any sales. I saw that as a problem. I wasn't converting, I wasn't making money, I wasn't, like I said, converting sales. I saw that as a problem, but I didn't stop. And so how I handled that problem is I kept going, and I kept knocking on doors and kept trying to find that yes, or that one or two yeses of the day. As far as a problem, that's one example of one. And yeah.
Okay. Think of a major crisis you faced at work and explain how you handled it.
Major crisis, my first summer, with Southwestern Advantage, I crashed my car into a railing off the side of the road. Don't know why it was there, but it was. But that didn't stop me, so I actually kept going to work, and I kept working that. I finished that entire day of work, even though I had crashed my car into a railing, practically totaled it.
Okay. That's, well, I'm glad you were okay. That's impressive. Can you give me an example of a risk that you took at your job, maybe something kind of where you got outside the box and how it turned out?
A risk was, so my first and second summer with Southwestern, I had these territories where I was supposed to work specific places, and I would start in low income areas and sort of work my way up to high income areas. And so by the middle of my first summer, I had gained a bunch of confidence, I gained a bunch of skills, and I was confident in my abilities to go talk to high income individuals. Instead of working in my but at that point in time, I was still supposed to be in that specific socioeconomic setting. Like I said, I gained the confidence. I went to a different territory, a more high income territory, and I absolutely crushed it there. I had my best week in sales, and yeah, just proved to myself that I was capable of what I thought I was capable of.
What's your managerial style like? I'm not sure if you've ever hired any employees. Have you ever managed anybody before?
My second summer with Southwestern, I was a student manager. I was in charge of co-managing a team of college students like myself, and the internship and the sales job.
Okay.
But I aided in the process of recruiting people all across the country. However, I wasn't directly responsible for hiring individuals. I aided in the process, like I said, but I wasn't directly responsible. My managerial style looked sort of just like leading by example, just doing what was supposed to, and like I said, leading by example.
Okay, that's good. Think about what type of performance, those people you were talking about, what type of performance problems did you encounter with those people, if ever? And, what did you do to kind of turn that situation around? How did you motivate them?
Just be a good listener towards them, and be a good communicator and a good encourager, someone who's there, who shows up, listens to them effectively, and just like I said, encourages them and does their absolute best to boost their morale and give them the confidence that they would need by leading by example, so they could then go out there and conquer what they need to conquer.
Okay. Describe a typical day with your present job.
With my current job or my past job?
Your current job. The Southwestern Advantage that we've been talking about.
Yeah, so I would wake up by 5:59 and take a cold shower every single day, Monday through Saturday. And then I would consecutively get breakfast with my coworkers and then go to work for 12 to 13 hours a day and knock on doors, cold calling, cold approaching every single day, using social media marketing to my advantage with use of Facebook, Instagram, and yeah, sell books door to door pretty much.
You were a hard worker. Okay. What is a book that you have read recently, the last year or two?
Now, to be honest, Mike, I haven't read a book in the last 1 to 2 years. Honestly, couldn't give you one.
Okay. And so, this is always a big question, right? People like to ask is what do you see yourself doing 5 years from now? Where do you see yourself?
That's a great question, Mike. 5 years from now, I would love to have a family, would have a secure position, whether it's an IBM or whatever kind of technological company, have a secure position with, like I said, a family, and live in a city like Nashville or Los Angeles or Miami, Florida, just somewhere like that. But as far as seeing myself in 5 years, I'd like to see myself happy and kind of things that I had mentioned before.
Okay. All right. Well, let me look here. Well, we're kind of running up on the time. So that's all the time I have for today, Ryan. And I really thank you for your time.
Absolutely. I appreciate you carving out your day to do this. Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome. Thank you.